Someone leaves your message on read, and suddenly your mind becomes a detective. Did you say too much? Are they upset? Should you send another message and try to repair a problem that may not even exist? A colleague dismisses your idea, a friend plans something without you, or a family member makes a choice you strongly disagree with. Before long, their behavior has taken over your mood, your attention, and your day. Most of us know that we cannot control other people. Yet we keep trying through persuasion, worry, people-pleasing, resentment, and endless mental rehearsal. In the Let Them theory, Mel Robbins offers a simple interruption. Let them. Let them misunderstand you. Let them choose differently. Let them reveal what they value. Then comes the half of the theory that changes everything. Let me. Let me decide what this means. Let me protect my time. Let me speak honestly. Let me move toward the life I want. The point is not to become passive or indifferent. It is to stop spending your power on the wrong side of the equation. In this episode, we will explore how the theory works, why control creates so much stress, and how to apply it to judgment, comparison, relationships, change, and personal goals. By the end, you will have a practical way to know when to release, when to respond, and when to walk away. The Let Them theory begins with a distinction that sounds obvious, but is easy to forget under pressure. There are things you control, and there are things you do not. You do not control another person's opinions, emotional reactions, timing, priorities, or decisions. You do control your words, boundaries, effort, attention, and next move. Stress grows when you pour energy into the first circle while neglecting the second. You argue with reality, trying to make people behave according to a script they never agreed to follow. Saying let them is a moment of recognition. You stop wrestling with what is already outside your control. Saying let me is a moment of agency. You choose what you will do with the information in front of you. Example 1. A slow reply. You send a thoughtful message and receive no answer for 2 days. Let them take their time. Their silence may reflect work, stress, uncertainty, or low interest, and guessing will not give you certainty. Let me return to my day, and if clarity matters, let me ask one direct question later. Example 2. A workplace decision. A manager chooses another person's proposal over yours. Let them make the decision they believe is right. Let me request useful feedback, strengthen my proposal, and decide whether this environment still supports my growth. The takeaway tool. Draw 2 circles on a page. In the first, write what belongs to them. In the second, write what belongs to me. Then take one action only from the second circle. One of the most exhausting forms of control is managing other people's impressions of you. You edit your personality, over-explain your choices, and say yes when you mean no because disapproval feels dangerous. But every meaningful choice creates an opinion somewhere. If you change careers, someone will call you reckless. If you stay, someone will call you afraid. If you speak confidently, one person may call you inspiring and another may call you arrogant. Trying to earn universal approval is not a path to belonging. It is a contract in which you abandon yourself and still receive no guarantee that people will approve. Let them think what they think does not mean refusing all feedback. It means separating useful information from the impossible project of controlling the storyteller inside another person's head. Example 1. Setting a family boundary. You decline a gathering because you are exhausted, and a relative calls you selfish. Let them feel disappointed. Their emotion is real, but it is not an instruction. Let me answer kindly, avoid a courtroom-style defense, and take the rest I need. Example 2. Sharing creative work. You publish an article or launch a small business, and someone mocks it. Let them have their taste. Let me study feedback from the people I serve, improve the work, and keep creating. The takeaway tool. Before explaining yourself, ask, Am I providing necessary information or applying for permission? If it is permission, pause and replace the long defense with one calm sentence. Comparison becomes painful when another person's life feels like a judgment on your own. Their promotion makes you feel behind. Their holiday makes your week look dull. Their close friendship makes you question your value. The mind turns a small piece of visible evidence into a complete story. They are winning. I am failing. Everyone belongs except me. Let them interrupt the comparison before it becomes self-punishment. Let them celebrate, travel, succeed, and form connections that do not include you. Their life is allowed to be good without yours being bad. Then let me turn envy into information. If their success activates something in you, ask what desire it reveals. Jealousy can become a compass when you stop using it as a weapon. Example 1, a social event. You see photographs from a dinner you were not invited to. Let them enjoy the evening. Let me acknowledge the sting without inventing a global verdict about my worth. If I want more connection, let me invite someone for coffee instead of waiting to be selected. Example 2, a peer's achievement. A former classmate announces a major promotion. Let them be proud. Let me notice what I admire, congratulate them sincerely, and identify one step toward the growth I want. The takeaway tool: convert comparison into a request from your future self. Write, what does this show me that I want? And what is one move I can make this week? The theory becomes harder when someone you love is making choices that worry you. You can see the missed appointments, unhealthy habits, financial mistakes, or relationship patterns. You want to shake them awake. But pressure often creates resistance. The more you lecture, chase, rescue, and monitor, the more the other person can make you responsible for a change that must eventually belong to them. Let them means allowing adults to own their decisions and, where appropriate, experience natural consequences. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop confusing support with control. Let me decide how I can help without taking over. Let me make a clear request. Let me offer a resource once. Let me stop financing or covering for behavior that harms both of us. Example 1, a friend in a repeated crisis. They ask for advice, ignore it, and return with the same emergency. Let them choose their path. Let me listen without managing, ask whether they want comfort or ideas, and limit how much time I can give. Example 2, a partner's health habit. You want them to exercise, but reminders have become arguments. Let them own their body and motivation. Let me describe how the situation affects our shared life, invite one practical agreement, and model the habits I value. The takeaway tool: replace repeated persuasion with one clear communication. State what you observe, how it affects you, what you are willing to do, and what you are not willing to carry. Let them is also a way of collecting honest data. When you stop chasing, reminding, and performing all the emotional labor, you can finally see what the relationship does on its own. Let people show their level of interest, effort, consistency, and care. Do not confuse potential with a pattern or a beautiful apology with sustained change. This can feel lonely because control gave you the illusion that effort could manufacture reciprocity. But clarity is kinder than spending years negotiating for basic respect. Let me does not require an immediate dramatic ending. It asks you to respond proportionally to the pattern, have a conversation, change your expectations, create distance, or leave when necessary. Example 1, one-sided friendship. You are always the person who calls, plans, and follows up. Let them initiate or not. Let me stop overfunctioning for a month and observe what happens. The result is information, not proof that I am unlovable. Example 2, inconsistent dating. Someone is warm for 3 days and disappears for 10. Let them communicate at the level they choose. Let me decide whether that level matches the relationship I want and decline ambiguity that drains me. The takeaway tool: judge patterns across time, not promises inside an emotional moment. Write down what the person consistently does, what you consistently feel, and what standard you want to live by. A simple phrase can be misused, so the boundary of the theory matters. Let them is not a command to tolerate abuse, discrimination, danger, betrayal, or violations of your rights. Acceptance means seeing reality clearly. It does not mean approving of reality, staying silent, or remaining available for mistreatment. A boundary is not a device for controlling another person. It is a statement about what you will do when a condition occurs. You may leave the room, end the call, document the behavior, seek help, or end the relationship. In emergencies or situations involving a child, a vulnerable adult, or immediate safety, responsible action comes first. The theory should never be used as an excuse for neglect or inaction. Example 1. Disrespect in a meeting. A colleague repeatedly interrupts and insults you. Let them reveal how they operate. Let me name the behavior, redirect the conversation, keep a record, and escalate through the proper channel if it continues. Example 2. A hostile conversation. A relative starts shouting during a disagreement. Let them be angry. Let me say that I will continue only when we can speak respectfully, and then end the call if the shouting continues. The takeaway tool: build boundaries in an if-then form. If this behavior happens, then I will take this protective action. A boundary becomes real through your follow-through. The final purpose of letting them is not to think less about people for its own sake. It is to recover attention for the life only you can build. Every hour spent replaying someone else's judgment is an hour unavailable for practice, rest, friendship, health, or meaningful work. Personal power is often less dramatic than we imagine. It looks like directing today's energy on purpose. Let me ask a better question. Not, how do I make them support me, but what support can I create? Not, how do I make them recognize my value, but where can I contribute and grow? Example 1. Beginning a new goal. Your family doubts that your evening course or small business will work. Let them doubt. Let me build a schedule, test the idea cheaply, and let evidence become louder than argument. Example 2. Rebuilding after rejection. You were turned down for a role you wanted. Let them choose another candidate. Let me feel disappointed, request feedback, contact 2 new opportunities, and keep my identity larger than this result. The takeaway tool: complete this sentence every morning. Let them do what is theirs, and let me do what is mine. Name one action that would make the day meaningful even if no one applauds. The let them theory is memorable because it gives you 2 short handles for a difficult human problem. Let them releases the illusion of control. Let me restores choice. Let them have opinions. Let me live by my values. Let them make choices. Let me respond to the pattern. Let them experience emotion. Let me communicate without surrendering my boundary. Let them follow their path. Let me take the next step on mine. The practice is not coldness. In many cases, it makes love cleaner because you can care without manipulating, help without rescuing, and listen without taking responsibility for another adult's entire life. The next time someone disappoints, excludes, criticizes, or misunderstands you, notice the urge to chase control. Take one breath and say, let them. Then ask the question that returns your power: what will I let myself do now? That concludes our exploration of the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins. Choose one situation today, separate what belongs to them from what belongs to you, and take one honest action from your own circle. In our next episode, we will explore another practical idea for living with greater clarity, courage, and intention. Until then, keep listening, keep reflecting, and keep turning good ideas into a better life.